IVM.
Good day, Ayushi. How are you?
It's only Monday and I'm already
Tired?
But that's because it was a heavy weekend. That's why I'm carrying on some.
Ayushi has had a heavy weekend of partying.
No, wedding season has started. So it was Sangeet, number 1 of the season.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Good shout.
You danced?
Baby, you have no idea. I was dancing.
Great.
I was dancing.
Great. And you looked hot, I'm sure.
Don't have to try, Rytasha.
Right.
I have to try very hard. That's what I mean.
How are you feeling at the Sangeet? Are you feeling beautiful and confident?
Oh, I see what you're doing. It took me very long to get that. I didn't know where you were going with it. Not 100%, but sure. Yeah, I was okay with what I was projecting. I was fine.
Okay.
And then liquid courage plays a huge part in my life. So, and for the people out there who have listened and thought, no, actually a little bit of drinking problem. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yet
is the key word.
However, yeah, it was a good weekend. I felt good about myself. So you can now
Welcome back
plug your topic.
to yet another episode of Agla Station Adulthood. I am Rytasha.
And I'm Ayushi.
And today we're going to chat about what we already gave you a little prelude of. It's not a confidence in itself. Ayushi and I would like to discuss self-esteem, security, self-confidence, entitlement, just all these things and our generation and how we deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Sorry, I don't have one word for this episode.
Yeah, we tried to come up with a one-word topic. I don't know what the topic of this one will be. We'll have to see what works.
Yeah, we'll craft something really crafty.
As you can tell, we're not exactly on the game right
I'm
now.
not a wordsmith, okay?
You know who is a wordsmith though?
Do tell.
Is the person who has left us the lovely review on Apple Podcasts, on our thing there. That took my confidence took a slight hit when I read it.
Do you want to remind me what it said?
Oh, it was not nice, I'll say that.
That I recall.
And then he said something about us not being intelligent, or intelligent people won't be impressed by us.
Oh, hello. I got it. He said, yes, a certain Arjun. I don't know who he is. He said, charm doesn't win over educated listeners' waste of time.
Yes, that was like the last line. There was a lot more before that.
I would like to look at the glass half full in this and say he has called us charming.
Yeah, and I was thinking it the other way is like we keep asking people to give us a chance and hear the episode, and he did.
He did.
He heard a episode and he didn't like it.
He agrees that we're charming though, so...
See, this is also a good jumping off point, because this is what I mean by delusional confidence.
Correct.
Because
that's where I'm at.
You have picked out, he thinks I'm charming, and I have picked out, why does he not think that I'm unintelligent? That's so unfair. And so I have gone back today and I've done double research, because I'm thinking, no, I have to put something more concrete out there in terms of just to prove him wrong.
Whereas my reaction has just been the entire opposite. I've just been like, you know what? He doesn't get it. I'm super charming, and I'm sure I have wonderful listeners who enjoy listening to me. And I'm just gonna go with the flow and feel my way around this, in a very la-dee-da, breathing in the room sort of a way.
This is why this podcast works, I think, because it could not be more opposite of what I would think when I read something like that. It was funny to me first, but then after that, it kind of it gnawed at me.
Fair.
Because that unintelligent thing, or it bothered me so much to think that someone thinks that I'm stupid. I mean, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not stupid.
Okay, so now this is when I want to ask you one question.
Huh.
You know you're smart. Inside your heart, you know this?
Yeah, in my brain, I know it.
So some rando on the internet has said whatever he said, and then it started gnawing at you.
Yes, it did. And I know that that's not what it should have done. I feel like I should have been able to differentiate and say that that's one person's opinion. It doesn't really matter. And at the end of the day, I'm fully aware that you can't please everyone. You're never going to have something like a podcast or something very creative like this where it can be, it's so subjective. Exactly. And we're not going to have 100% success rate no matter how good or how long this runs. You know what I mean? I'm aware of that because there will be people who don't agree or don't like perhaps just the sound of our voice. There's nothing you can do about that. So I know all these things, but I think even if he had said to me that you're not funny or you're like ugly or you're, well, I don't know what other insults he can come up with, entitled or privileged, all of these things, if he had said, I would have been like, okay, some truth somewhere perhaps. But the fact that he made it seem like he's super smart and I am unable to cater to that smart audience, which could be true. We don't know. Maybe he's like a PhD candidate and he's very, very intelligent. But I just got that thing of, oh my God, he thinks I'm stupid. And to me, that's like it's such a big insult that I couldn't get over it.
There. Ayushi, I'd just like to tell you that you are one of the smartest people that I know.
But that doesn't mean much.
Yeah, you know, that's like, she's calling the rest of my friends dumb.
No, also the rest of our friends are very smart as well.
Yeah.
And we all have difference. Anyway, I think we've gone away from the topic, but so confidence, self-esteem.
Yeah, it was mainly about how you felt about it and how even the words of a stranger could affect you. Thus,
that's, I think, the drawback of doing this podcast, because it's been like super flowery, like roses, butterflies, and
just one thorn,
rainbows
occasionally.
But then it's when when people don't like it. Honestly, I get a lot of DMs saying, "Madam, waste of time," and all. Like that happens. It's fine. I have no issues. But no one has ever said stupid. You know, that hurt me. Arjun, you hurt me.
You hurt Ayushi, okay? And that's
but it's all right.
okay.
It's fair. It's your opinion. You're allowed to do it.
Yeah, but they had a lot of time to sit and type out. It was a waste of time. I would like to just mention that. Anyway.
That's true.
We have given enough time to this time.
Yeah.
We need to talk about what we are here to talk about, Ayushi.
Right. So the roadmap of this episode is we want to talk about the importance of confidence, having it, utilizing it to further your personal development and goals.
Understanding what it means to you and differentiating the projection of confidence vis-a-vis the actual confidence within you.
And I really do want to end with kind of the difference between what I've found out to be the actual debate is like self-esteem versus reality esteem.
I love that, reality esteem.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
So I think that we can do after the break.
Okay, cool.
So self-confidence, have you always been this confident self that you
so
project?
Confidence is something that I don't think was taught to us as children. At least I wasn't like taught you have to be confident unless it was at like a debates or an elocution kind of cultural event at school where they'd be like, okay, stand straight, speak with confidence. But as a child, you don't really understand what that confidence means. Does it mean just hiding my fear? Does it mean putting on a smile and pretending I'm okay? Does it mean standing really tall and like holding my breath so that nobody knows my heart is like beating really fast inside me? So as a kid, I don't think I could fully understand what the real confidence meant. It felt more like something that's an armor which you pick up when nerves kick in or when anxiety kicks in. I don't think I actually felt the sense of actual true confidence up until much, much, much later in life.
Right. You can't really pinpoint a moment, but was there a phase where you felt it kick in?
See, for me, it was easy because it happened during drama school. Because there's a whole process of like unconditioning and unlearning and all of that one goes through when there's actor training involved. And it is, again, it brings me back to that thing which I think I mentioned earlier in one of our other episodes. The growth of your own person, like the skills you have, or when you know that you're good at something, the things you take pride in, not that kind of khokhla confidence ki like, yeah man, I'll kill it, bro, I'm the best, bro. Not that. I mean, yeah, sure. I say
so gross.
Stupid things like that too sometimes. But when you actually know, okay, you know what? This is something I'm good at. I have spent years learning this. I have spent time gaining this much
And honing that craft
Honing
and
that
talent.
craft, exactly. So then you suddenly feel confident. Like, for as simple as, I used to feel so scared to call myself an actor. Like, I didn't feel confident to say the word that I'm an actor.
Okay.
Because I was like, I have to not done any work. How can I say I'm an actor and all that? But I was like, hold on. Half these people, they have not even studied the actings. I have studied it. I thought at least can say I've graduated with one degree. I can say I'm an actor, no? But
Yeah.
no, it took me like a good 1.5 years before I could like confidently say the word from my mouth. Somebody asked me, what do you do? I'm an actor. Before that, I have only like attached these 100 feelings to this word, and I was unable to own it, even though it was
Right.
the one thing that was my work and something I was actually good at. Yeah. So that was my first brush, I think, with understanding what actual confidence felt like. And that didn't really feel like an armor. It felt more like a warm,
Embrace.
not a warm embrace. I would say like a nice kind of, imagine two coals, like, at the end of a fire in a cold, if you're sitting in a cold place and there's a fireplace,
Right.
and then they're just like burning out, but there's still a little warmth coming out of them.
Uh-huh.
So like I feel like real confidence feels like that inside my chest, but like a nice slow warmth, a sustained warmth.
That's a nice visual, I think,
Yeah.
of what confidence can make you feel.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been building on that ever since?
Yeah, because now once you find that, I think that small, quiet sense of confidence, at least I think I'm sure it's different for every person.
Right.
Now I have given it this visual because that's how it makes me feel, but it might make someone else feel another way. But now that I know what that feels like, every time I do go towards another type of confidence, whether it's a confidence that comes from being emotional or wronged, sometimes when you want to prove your point or that kind of. So now I understand that, okay, that's not the space that I need to go to. I need to try to remain in this warm flame
Got it.
zone, because that's healthy for me. That's where I will probably reach my maximum potential.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm making much sense to you.
I'm not fully understanding it, but that's not like, that's okay. Perhaps somebody who feels closer to you as a listener might relate to that feeling, because I don't relate to this.
What does confidence feel like to you? Or like self-confidence or sense of security, self-esteem, how you feel about yourself. What does that feel like?
I think now as an adult, I know that there are certain things that I can be confident about, that I know that I have a good grasp on them. And then there are some things that are my shortcomings, so I need to work on them. So I don't portray more than I am in those specific aspects of my life. Like, I'm very aware of the differentiation now as an adult. And that's truly because I took huge stock of my life when I was 17, 18, because I went through a phase where there was a lot of rejection in my life from an academic perspective.
Yeah.
So I had to take a lot of stock in terms of sorting out the bullshit from the concrete things that, Ayushi's good at X, Y, Z. So I think now I'm really quite secure with my level of confidence. However, when I was younger, I was super confident. I've always been a confident child. And even when I was in school, I was confident about that I was why am I embarrassed? That I am a gifted speaker. That I am not scared in front of a big audience or a crowd. And especially the school that we went to, there were so many avenues for you to perform and have these platforms of being out there in front of people. And then the minute you're good at something, you get that quote unquote adulation. And it's not really adulation, it's just your own peers telling you congrats for doing something well.
And it's the rush you feel, no, of like
Absolutely.
performance.
Absolutely. And so having that from a young age, and always just, it came to me naturally, those things. I never felt shy to go up and say something or raise my hand in class. Like, I was not that kid. In English, when they used to say, like, we used to read out passages in literature, my hand was the first hand up. It could possibly be because I was so delusional. I was like, I just love the sound of my own voice. No one speaks like
Cut to
me.
2019, Ayushi has a podcast.
I manifested this from a young age, clearly. But what I'm trying to say is that I had full confidence that no. I'm very good at these things. Also, you said that it wasn't taught to you. I think now, during considering this episode, confidence was taught to me.
Yeah, by your parents?
By my parents, always
Amazing.
telling me that you have to be confident. Whatever you want to say, you have to be confident. Again, it came from that place where when we were kids, if you cried, you didn't get what you wanted. You had to put forth what you had to explain what is it that upset you, what is it that you wanted, and you always had to speak this to your parents. So I had to have that confidence to tell my dad or my mom that I want to go here or I want this, and not cry because that was not going to get me where I wanted to go. So I had to force myself to become that person, and I think they kind of ingrained that in my brother and I, that you have to be confident. You have to go out there and say what you want and what you feel and think, and you have to be confident. And I went for elocution classes and drama classes because I enjoyed doing that. So again, those things really build up your confidence. So I was overconfident as a child, definitely. And perhaps I paid the price for it somewhere in my early mid-teens. But then I took stock and I realized that I don't want to be an empty vessel. An empty vessel makes it makes the loudest noise, right?
Yeah.
But it's empty. There's nothing there. So I have worked really hard on making sure that there's substance to my level of self-esteem or confidence. It comes from a place of, no, I'm okay with this. I know that I've got this much. So it's based off that leverage. There's no coal fire in mine. Mine is very percentage-wise. We know X. So X into 100 is how much confidence you have. But we don't know why. So on that, we don't need to be overly out there and speak and give our opinion on for no effing reason. Learn, read, figure it out, make an opinion, keep it to yourself. We don't know enough.
I love that.
That. But this is something that even I've really worked on this.
Yeah, because earlier we also, I think, felt pressured that, you have to be informed and you have to talk about everything, or you have to be super smart.
Yeah.
And while you still want to be smart and intelligent and well-read and all of those things, I think you don't take pressure. You don't take that much pressure anymore. You don't put that on yourself. I have to talk about this also and talk about that.
I'm saying this, and clearly some of my old demons have come back because that one review affected me, to be oh my God, he doesn't think I'm smart. And again, that could possibly be going back to some other very specific event where you've been rejected in your life, because I have been rejected in my life based on, say, an academic thing.
Yeah, it is a trigger.
And I'm not saying that my not getting into XYZ school was because I didn't have the grades. I think there was a lot of other issues that went into it, and there was a lot of complication, and that's a whole other podcast, I feel. But for me, rejection on the basis of intelligence and that quote unquote smartness it is a trigger. It is a trigger for me. That I'm realizing that is my trigger point. You know how everyone has something that sets them off.
Fair.
This sets me off. And I work really hard to make sure that I'm not just making noise.
Because, also before we recorded today, you spoke about how failure actually adds in a positive way to building your confidence.
Yeah, but I think we should come back to this because I think we need to explain that study to be why that thought came into.
Of course, there's a study involved.
It's only for Arjun.
Only for Arjun.
I'm kidding. It's not for you. F*** you.
But earlier also I want to talk about one thing. There was a moment.
Yeah.
There was a moment right now before you said I'm a gifted speaker. You had a second of hesitation. And I want to talk about that feeling also because I feel like a lot of us do it. We know we're good at something. We undersell ourselves for a moment. Are we trying to just be okay, cool, I don't need to show off? Or what is it? Why do we do that?
Because everyone is so obsessed now with saying and talking about everything that they think they're good at and their opinion on everything and their thoughts. And it's this oversharing constantly, which makes people seem gross to me. And so now, even when I know that I'm good at something, I don't want to I'll say it to you, I'll say it to my friends, I'll say it to my parents because that's a safe space that I know that you can back up and tell me that yes, Ayushi, knowing you for X amount of years has made me realize that you're good at this, But to say it out loud to strangers, how many ever hundreds, tens, thousands are listening, I don't know. it's so unfounded to them. There's no reason for them to take my word on that. And I don't want to put some projection of that's fake for all they know. And today, this is going to sound like this is an anti-influencer thing, but it's true. There's just people out there falsely nonsense, just saying whatever they want on social media, on the internet. And there's no basis, there's no backing, there's no way of verifying their authenticity or their actual intelligence, their validity and what they're saying. Like, are you saying the truth? You're lying to people. And these kind of things, it bothers me, which is why I took a second before I said it, because I was like, I don't want to be like one of those people who just goes on the line and says, I'm so amazing in this way.
But I feel like it's actually the people who are actually amazing who will take the step to think also, to be like, But then that's what separates your influencer generation. If we're talking about, we should also clarify that we don't mean all influencers, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Because your buddy here is a bit of an influencer. Yeah, I got that blue tick and I sell products occasionally.
Sash, I do want to say, we know a lot of people who have a lot of influence on the internet.
Correct.
And you know more than I do, but I follow a lot of people because there are some who truly, I think, have a voice and they use it for good and they use it to open a conversation and a dialogue and learn, and there's an healthy exchange of ideas. I'm saying the people who just kind of blindly plug and talk about them. I mean, look, you know the kind of people that I'm talking about. We don't need to get into it.
Yeah.
But I think this comes from this false sense of confidence, and it's making people who maybe don't have that much confidence think that the only way to be successful is if you talk like this.
Also because sadly, a lot of this generation's validation and sense of self comes from their online presence.
Yeah.
So अभी उनको online इतना भाव मिल रहा है from people who may not necessarily be the most intelligent consumers of their content.
Right.
And they're getting heaps of bhav from these people. So they are also getting this inflated sense of self that, oh wow, I must be wow.
You are not wow. You are nothing but wow. Like, come on. Take stock of your life and take stock of the things that you're saying. And if you have that much reach and influence, that you should be responsible for what you're saying. This has gone into something else.
That's not the topic, Ayushi.
No, confidence.
We're just talking about this idea of confidence and the projection of confidence. I think that's when the influencer thing really does make sense. Because how much confidence are you projecting and how much are you actually feeling? You know?
Yeah. So then it goes into the thing of there's, kind of like the topic of mental health. Because people talk about it way more openly now, which is a great thing. And there's a lot more acceptance and awareness for it.
Yeah.
There are people who are hyper confident on the internet and they project all of this. And then they'll show that, oh my God, but I have these horrendous days where I'm, full of anxiety and I have a depressive attack or whatever it's called.
Have you seen this new show on Prime, Modern Love?
Yeah.
So the third episode is with Anne Hathaway.
So she's bipolar. So she has, I'm saying she goes from mania to depression. That's
Correct.
Totally different. I'm saying it more like, how should you phrase this?
Because now you talk about mental health and I mentioned this and you're now saying that's totally different. Because it is a larger umbrella of mental health.
Yeah, okay.
And then
you're right.
Abhi clinically nahi pata na who is going through what.
Yeah, but then it's like the people who have created this life, who have a very public persona, right? I'm not just talking about influencers. I'm talking about people who have a public persona and then they have a personal one.
Yeah.
Like what they are inside. I'm not saying that every person has to match these two. There can be some things that you hide and you keep for yourself, and then there are things that you can portray and throw light on more in the public space. That's fine. But when the delta between these two things is so wide that it starts to become almost a lie, that's when it's dangerous, because it's a false narrative. And then whatever you're projecting and whoever is imbibing that energy from you in the public space is actually absorbing a lie, right?
Yeah.
They're absorbing a falsehood. And that is slightly dangerous, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree with you on that. But
so I'm saying that when I say things like take stock of your life, who am I to tell you that? I'm saying it more out of try to narrow that gap between what you put outside and what you are on the inside. Because it's that authenticity game, right? Be authentic. Be your best self. No, I'm not saying hide your mental illness or your physical illness or whatever it is. There's no need to hide behind anything, but it's more like if you're going to portray 100, try to be at 75, 80. There are people that we know who portray 100 and are at 7. And it's like, girl, this isn't working for anyone because now you're being untrue.
Yeah.
So in the name of authenticity and being your best self, don't be untrue is what I'm saying. I've been untrue to myself. I have. In my life. And it hasn't worked out well for me. So I'm just saying from personal experience, the more like I've lied to myself, I've lied to my inner self, and it may have never showed because it's like, oh, you are a confident person, but it caught up with me eventually. A lie will always catch up to you. So I'm just trying to say that self-esteem, self-confidence, these are really important things, but assess how much of it you have and how much you're portraying. That's all I'm saying. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you.
Okay, cool.
I think a great place for us to take a break and then we come back and chat some more.
About my study.
Okay then, see you after the break.
Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, you know what? I'm tired of asking you to follow us. This time I expect you to follow us. Please make sure you follow us. If you're not following us, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Seriously, I'm sure many of you would like that, but that's the only threat I have. We'd also like to thank our sponsors of the network this week. Thank you, Storytel. Thank you, Intel. We're really grateful for your support. This week on Cyrus is joined by Prakash Malia. Prakash is the Managing Director for Intel India's Sales and Marketing Group. Prakash and Cyrus get into talking about Prakash's travel habits and also talking a little bit about Prakash's hobby of photography. So really fun conversation. Do check it out. On Agla Station Adulthood, hosts Ayushi and Rytasha talk about confidence and self-esteem and how it's different from self-awareness. On the Boundless podcast, Natasha shares the problem of being a brown immigrant in a foreign land and how to cope with it. She also recites her poem on being average and calls it a new voice. This week on Gaby City, Farhad and Sunetru take us through the deep understanding of being intimate with other people and recreating those spaces. On States of Anarchy, Hamsuni is joined by Ameya Nayak to discuss international law and how it measures up in current geopolitics. On Football Should Ball, hosts Gaurav, Karthik and Siva talk about Jose Mourinho's shock appointment as the Spurs coach. And of course, the big game last Saturday, Man City versus Chelsea. On The Habit Coach, Ashton talks about voting and acknowledging the choices that we make with a mindful approach. On Pragati Podcast, we have repeat guest Ameya Nayak, who talks to Pawan about refugees, distress, migrants, and movement of people across the world. On Ganatantra this week, Alok and Saryu are joined by Dr. Srinath Raghavan to discuss politics of the armed forces, nationalism, the impact of social media on perceptions of the army, and more. On Storytellers and Storysellers, Vineet is joined by actress and storyteller Asas Channa and also VP Content and Strategies at One Digital Entertainment, Sudeep Lahiri. Together, they talk about the influencer ecosystem and discuss strategies that can help brands collaborate with influencers better. On the Geek Fruit podcast, Thinkar and Tejas talk about all the notable dragons that we have watched in movies and TV shows throughout the years. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
Welcome back. And we're going to go straight into what we were
Professor
talking about.
Ayushi and her academic article in 3, 2, 1.
No, there was a study that was conducted across by professors from many universities in America. And it's titled, Does High Self-Esteem Cause Better Performance, Interpersonal Success, Happiness, or Healthier Lifestyles? Question mark.
Question mark, yes.
And basically the universities were like University of British Columbia in Vancouver, and then Brown, University of Utah, Florida State. So quite geographically different if you think about it. And they polled it based on a study that they've been conducting, not this study, but there's another survey where they've been conducting it since the 1980s actually in America, and it only targets and it questions freshmen. So freshmen are first year university students, and it kind of takes a look year on year on certain markers of this age group who are in university. So like their performance, their intelligence, their confidence, their drive, their entrepreneurship, are those things growing? And one thing that they realized was over the years, everyone's self-confidence and self-esteem has indeed gone up. However, performance hasn't. Results academically haven't gotten better. It's not like these students who are more confident are smarter or are getting better grades. They're just more confident.
Hence proved our theory from before the break.
And I enjoyed reading it. It was a bit disheartening in the sense being like, oh, so if I'm confident, it doesn't actually mean anything's going to go right. Then I realized that the takeaway is not that. What they were trying to say is that confidence is not necessary for you to start something. It's necessary for you to continue it. And as you read it, I mean, it's a very extensive study, obviously, because it's, based in academia and those kind of data-driven numbers. But one of the other takeaways is, there's it's better to continue things with confidence than start it with confidence that you don't need it. Second is also the line between confidence and narcissism. Mm-hmm. Right? Because when you are too overconfident and you're too sure of yourself and your abilities, then you start becoming unappealing to your peers. And you are not the person that people reach out to, and because all you're doing is pushing your own agenda.
Right.
And nobody likes that in a group or in a personal setting. Like maybe it's good in the beginning, but then eventually people start seeing through it because it's false.
Yeah.
So it brought up the conversation and the debate of self-esteem versus, like we said earlier, reality esteem. And they said that was a far better way of approaching projects and life in general, whatever whatever the issue is at hand, is that when you're more aware of what you're good at and what you're not good at, your confidence comes from a very organic, natural place, and actually you will do much better. As opposed to just being blindly just like being told by media or external things that, no, you are great. You have to believe that you are great and everything that you do is going to magically touch and become gold. This isn't like a Midas kind of a thing. So it kind of does help what my theory has been so far, that people are too overconfident. And I don't want it to seem like I'm saying that you shouldn't be proud of yourself and your achievements, or you shouldn't put your best foot forward or your best self out there. Like, I'm not saying that. I fully believe that you should be confident. I've said that in the girlhood episode. I think young girls need it more than anything else.
For sure.
Boys have been confident for too long.
Too confident, overconfident.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think in those respects, it is important. It's a fundamental building block for your personality. It really is. But you need to know that line, I think.
I just find it so trippy that we may have become more confident, but actually
right?
Kuch hua nahi hai.
That was a standout thing for me when you read, even if you just read the synopsis of this article, it'll pop right up at you and you're like, shit. So if it's not leading to any concrete results, is it actually beneficial?
At the same time, Ayushi, just from like regular life, I want to chat about how people sometimes may not necessarily be as skilled at a job as the other person is, but this person is a great talker or exudes a lot of like a self-assured, confident kind of attitude. And it's like that story about Neil Gaiman, which Ritika, our producer, just told us earlier, that he just went in and he bluffed and what's the word? Faffed. Bluffed is the right word. He bluffed that he worked at the New York Times when he actually had no job experience, and they were like, yeah, sure, come. So wo confidence se jo usne bullshit kiya, which I think we also used to learn in school at debates,
I said that before
English
we started
debates
recording.
Or Hindi debates, No problem, you don't know the topic, just you bullshit with confidence.
I used to tell the juniors that we used to like do practice with, not train, but like we used to practice with them. And they were so nervous. They were just nervous to go up on stage and speak in front of their peers and a judge. And a lot of times you were in a debate, you're given the side of the argument that you don't agree with. You don't fundamentally believe what you're saying. And I used to tell them all, because this is something that I think, I don't know where I picked it up from. It was probably silly. But this was one of the things where I told all of them, dude, it doesn't matter what you're saying. Just say it with confidence and everyone will believe you. And that is kind of the underlying theme of most dictators now that I think about it.
That's wild.
And I'm showing some evil traits in myself. If you think about it, like the world's cruelest men or the
it's that
crimes
conviction
against
and confidence
humanity
which
that
has,
occurred.
yeah,
They were just such good speakers, and they had confidence, and they were
assured and all of that.
And it led to some crazy things.
Yeah.
So, but you're told that as a kid, and the hope is that you use that for good and not for like the Holocaust.
Yeah, but also I think only like maybe 1 out of 10 times will this combination of your confidence and luck work for you. I think as kids will grow up, even these freshman people who've had these tests done on them, that age is also you've
so
just come out of
volatile.
high school.
Yeah, you're going to change.
And you've just had all these feelings and your emotions, this, that and the other. Of course, your confidence is at its peak. You're probably like a young, fit person also. You cut to like real adulthood, it's not going to be the same, no? It's
absolutely not. I think we both are living proof of that. You went from not having confidence to then kind of going through a very formalized way of educating, and that has helped you have so much confidence that today you're touted as an internet sensation.
Bro, I thought like wild when this confidence department now, but also I feel like I don't always 100% feel this confidence. It's a lot of the pushing of it also.
Right, but for the most part, your entire outlook on yourself has really changed. You questioned yourself constantly in school and you didn't have a lot of self-esteem, and now you have so much, and at least 90% of it is based in reality. 10% is delusion. Mm-hmm. That's for sure, I'm telling you. I also see it, I'm like, oh, she's crazy. It's okay, I love her. And I went the opposite. I had a lot of confidence, and I think I've muted certain aspects of my personality because I realized that it's dangerous to speak when you don't know what you're saying and you're not listening to everybody. It's a direct cause of so many of the issues that we have today in our political, social thing. Is no one is willing to listen. They are just confidently saying, I think this, so it is this.
Yeah, that I don't agree with. No, which is why I think it's so important if you are going to be doing something, if you're especially at this age where you're starting out and you're doing whatever it is, you're applying to internships, to jobs, or just going to college or whatever it is. Until I feel we don't get good at the thing that we're trying to be good at, there's no reason for us to be confident or overconfident. Let's say overconfident, yeah.
You should be confident, but I see what you're saying. Like it does go back to what Ritika was saying earlier, was that today when you apply for these jobs and all, they always ask you what's your past experience. And sometimes you have to fake it to make it in that situation and be like, I have had experience in this while I was at school. I did this. And you bluff a little bit. You make it sound a little bit bigger than it is because you want that in. Yeah. So that you can eventually have the experience to be naturally good at it. But
how much can you fake it till you make it? Like
eventually, what you're good at and what you're not good at kind of comes to light. Unfortunately or fortunately, it comes to light.
Fair. Also, but I want to ask you, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm in this freelance life and it's so different.
Yeah.
The way it works and the industry at large, this entertainment industry is just so different because it's a lot about like the dikhava of it also.
Yeah, which is why I don't.
She can't deal, only she can't understand. As a side note, so many times she calls me, she's like, how does this industry work? Is this normal? What happening? This is like this only. And I'm like, yeah, bro.
I get so riled out sometimes when I see things and I call up. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. People are just lying on the internet now. There's no accountability. No one's credible. And then you're like, you need to just take it down 5 notches. Nobody gives that much of a shit. But that's what it's become. It's because so many people are talking shit. No one gives any. It's like it doesn't matter. There's so much crap out there. But that's the problem. It's because some people have a false sense of confidence, and it's sometimes drowning out the people who are trying their best to.
So then should we have a few top tips on how we can cultivate like authentic confidence? I think the biggest top tip for that would be to actually like just constantly better yourself at whatever it is that you're trying to, your skill set.
Yes.
Whatever is your specific chosen skill set or whatever you want to contribute to society, work on that for yourself, I feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if you're not much of a reader, perhaps you can don't like audiobooks or whatever it is. But I do think that you should absorb
Some
a lot of
information.
information from people who have been through life. I've recently taken to reading a lot of like memoirs and biographies and autobiographies of like big business leaders. That's because I'm trying to think of new management styles.
High-powered businesswoman.
Not
Ayushi.
at all. I'm just trying to think like how can I suggest different management techniques that might make my workspace more creative and fun. I just want to have fun.
A TT table.
I'm reading that. But through that, I've realized that all these people, like whether, like, you know, everyone must have read Shoe Dog, Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. Then you have like Bob Iger, who was the head of Disney for the last 15 years. All these people in these creative fields, they've still created businesses, right?
Yeah.
And juggernauts that have been wildly financially successful. Their confidence, actually, not a lot of them were snazzy billionaires from the get-go.
Correct.
They
were
really
like regular people, yeah.
And some of them have struggled with self-esteem issues, and they've never wanted to put themselves out there because they didn't truly believe that what they were doing was right, or they never knew whether this was going to work or not. But they tried N number of times to get it right, to win. This is the dangerous thing. I know that this need to win. It's a different thing, but I'm saying they really kept trying to make themselves better or make the product better.
Right.
And I think that will give you a really big sense of confidence because even if the product isn't great, you know that you're working really hard to make it
The effort is
good.
100%, which is important. So we have 3 top tips here. You sneakily snuck one more in because you were talking about reading and then you got to this effort one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's cool. I was talking about reading and like just hearing I was talking about leeching. Basically, I was saying just become a leech.
Yeah, find people smarter than you and become a leech.
Hundo P.
Hundo P.
Hundo P.
She means 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
There's some people, some of our own peers and friends who I think are very smart, and I always shamelessly WhatsApp them when like there's some new change or some industry thing. I'm like, what are your thoughts? And then I'm like, what is he going to say? And then based on what they say, I try to research and find out more so I know where I should be looking.
That's what I do to you anytime issues are there. I message Ayushi saying, Ayushi, ye chal raha hai news mein, kya hai ye?
But that's because, like, how to explain what's happening in the news these days, guys. When this episode comes out, Maharashtra doesn't have a government. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so your top, that's... What else? What's another top tip?
See,
you are a very confident person. You should be telling people.
I have also faced a lot of rejection. To be honest, that's the experience. And that's all I can say because as an actor, you keep facing rejection. Ayushi, it's been 5 years of my life here in Mumbai Shiri being an actor professionally.
Yeah, correct.
So that may mean I've given at least 300 auditions by now. At least I must have given 300 auditions. I must not have done more than 30-40 projects, I feel. That's also pushing it. Totally. If I'm counting all the chintu-mintu things also. Now you see this rate. Rejection rate to acceptance rate.
Yeah.
Its acceptance rate is very low. So when the industry is only like there to punch you every second audition you go for, they're like, no way, bye-bye. So you go home with this rejection. And for how long can this rejection affect you? There were, of course, earlier times when I was like, yuck, yaar, I am only shit. Still, some days I feel like shit. But more often than not, like recently I got dumped from a really big-ish project. So it was all confirmed. And I went to the costume trials to another city.
It got really far. You told us you told us about it. We were so excited.
So many friends about it. I was so happy. I felt so confident, like, oh my God, I have bagged this. I am awesome.
Yeah, it was a project that it would have really put you in a new level. And
maybe not actually now, but in hindsight, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, that's fair.
So anyway.
Now I've picked up many problems with that project for you.
Yeah.
I've been like, actually, the thing is, this is not right.
So as soon as I got dumped, we were all like, yeah, it anyway. It's not like good. So anyway, then I got dumped after the thing going so far. So I think for 1 week, I was back to my self-pity zone. Even though I knew it wasn't all about... The reason I learned quickly after auditioning for these years and doing work is that if you don't get a job, it's not because you're not a good actor. So rejection
isn't personal.
Yeah.
Try not to take it personally.
It isn't personal, that's what.
Oh God, I need to tell myself this.
No
also.
need to get so personal about anything. And rejection will help you because, you get up, you go back, and
I know that's easier said than done.
Of course.
And you're allowed to take your time and wallow in your self-pity for a while. That's totally fair. I've done it. And perhaps sometimes I've wallowed for too long. But I've added other liquids to that wallowing.
See, that's when the fake confidence helps me. Because while I may want to wallow, Ayushi, my heart and all my sad feelings want to be like, I'm so sad.
And you have so many feelings.
But then it's like your brain, which has that positivity kick, which is the self-confidence assured part of my brain, is like, no, chill out. This is just a mini obstacle. You can instead focus your mind on other things that you are doing and the other things you do have lined up and how you can do them better now.
Yeah.
So it's also about like getting your monkey brain to shut up.
I think that's great. There's nothing, I don't want to add anything to that. That's absolutely it. You will, and aha! I know what it is. To people everywhere, whether you're on the younger side, and the older people will agree immediately, you are going to be constantly rejected in life. Constantly. Whether it's personally, whether it's professionally, whether it's like
romantically,
like whatever it is, you will be rejected because everyone doesn't love everybody. It doesn't work like that. And so you have to be able to take stock, like to differentiate that. Don't let that determine your level of confidence, is what I'm trying to say. That it will happen, but somehow you're going to have to find it in yourself to like pick yourself up and be like, I'm going to try one more time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, you should read some of these books from CEOs. They're damn good. And
so you recommended Shoe Dog. And you recommended which other book?
Bob Iger's book. It was, it's on, I forget, I'm literally forget. It's a very long title, but it's on Amazon. He's a CEO of Disney.
Epic. I'm read these books myself first.
Yeah, and it's just about how many times, like Nike, like the amount of times they went through so many setbacks. And today you have a company that is like an inspiration machine, right?
Fall down 10 times, get up 11.
Yeah. So
that's it.
So you adjust, the book by Bob Iger is the Ride of a Lifetime. Lessons learned while I was a CEO. So I think those kind of things are a better place to absorb confidence from, as opposed to anything that's not real. And guys, kids, don't believe everything that
the social media world and the internet tells you. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I would like to drive this point home further. Never feel pressured to be confident or project confidence. Don't put that burden on yourself. I feel a lot of young kids have this burden. We only put it on ourselves because we see it. But also we don't know if everyone's confidence is real. So please don't feel pressured to put that out there. You do you, and keep your head down and do your work, and it will come. The quiet confidence from inside.
It will eventually
that warmth
come.
will spread from within.
Because eventually you'll have enough experience to know what is the real confidence.
Correct.
And when your brain or your body or whatever can't do it. Like
Correct.
You'll be able to tell between what you're good at and what you're not good at. And then you can play to your strengths and weaknesses.
Excellent. On that note,
we
leave you to experience the rest of your day and the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
Have a lovely, lovely week.
Peace.
Did you know that Parsis in Mumbai, instead of being left at the Tower of Silence after they die, are now cremated? And why? Because a cow fell sick in the early 1990s. Did you know that the smog in Delhi is caused by something that farmers in Punjab do, and that there's no way to stop them? Did you know that there wasn't one gas tragedy in Bhopal, but 3? One of them was seen, but 2 were unseen. Did you know that many well-intentioned government policies hurt the people they're supposed to help? Why was demonetization a bad idea? How should GST have been implemented? Why are all our politicians so corrupt when not all of them are bad people? I'm Amit Verma, and in my weekly podcast, The Seen and the Unseen, I take a shot at answering all these questions and many more. I aim to go beyond the scene and show you the unseen effects of public policy and private action. I speak to experts on economics, political philosophy, cognitive neuroscience, and constitutional law so that the insights can blow not only my mind, but also yours. The Seen and the Unseen releases every Monday. So do check out the archives and follow the show at seenunseen.in. You can also subscribe to the Seen and the Unseen on whatever podcast app you happen to prefer.
Hi, I'm Satyajit.
Hi, I'm Racheta.
We are from the Open Library Project and we host a podcast called Paperback.
Paperback is a podcast where we engage with stalwarts and experts from various industries, suggesting non-fiction titles that contributed to their journey in a big way.
We've had guests like Anjali Raina, Dr. Marcus Rani, Dr. Swati Lodha, Ambi Parmeswaran, Apurva Damani, and many more on our show Paperback. Find new episodes every Wednesday on IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.